What is up, legit listeners? What is up, NFL fans? What is up, Demon fans? It's Kevin Phillip Fox and the Pro Football Demon, which can only mean one thing. It's Thursday, and it's time for our fantasy Q&A show, the 1 hour where you can think about nothing else in the entire world other than fantasy football. Pro Football Demon, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great, man. I can't believe we are already at week 10. It's a bittersweet feeling. But the good thing about the NFL, I always say, is it has become a year-round phenomenon. So even when the season ends, well, it's not like it used to be where we would have this empty feeling. We have the draft to look forward to. We have a ton of content to look forward to from a bunch of great content creators like you guys and myself.
Hell yeah.
And that's all I have to say. So let's get into this.
Hell yeah, dude. I absolutely love where your head is at. It's a good mindset to have. And I do want to announce officially to anybody who observed me and Pro Football Demons Twitter conversation yesterday, we are back together. After
I didn't know we split up. That was only in your head.
It was in my head. It was one of those things, don't gaslight me on the air, but it was one of those things where Demon and I had some talks went sour. And then he traded Amon-Ra St. Brown to Brian McFadden under my nose. The pale one, as you guys know him.
The pale one. For a package.
It was good. It was way better than any package I could ever put together. So I'm not at all. I don't take it personally anymore. I've thought about it. I've seen the error of my ways. God's working on me. And God is working on the fantasy football community right now, Pro Football Demon, because there are chats abounding, as I would expect nothing less, from the amazing people who join us on these Thursday shows. So without further ado, Demon, are you ready to kick things off?
I am ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's freaking do it. We're going to start with Mr. Squishy79. I've seen his name a lot. I love this guy. Start Dak or Howell and start rest of season over Mahomes, yes or no? Start 2, Lockett, McLaurin, Chase, or Flowers. Trade McLaurin and Lockett for Javonte, yes or no? Or which wide receivers for him? Foreman or Taysom at flex? We're gonna. Hey, the only way to devour a whale is one bite at a time.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with the first question, and we'll make our way through Squishy's question. But we actually don't heavily discourage Squishy's strategy here because it's a little cheat code, multiple questions in one. We're not mad at you, Squishy.
I'm mad at you, Squishy. I don't like this, but
no, it's a very entrepreneurial mindset. He's a bargain hunter. I respect it. Yeah. Mr. Demon, Dak or Howell to start?
Well, Dak or Howell, I'm going Dak and start rest of season over Mahomes. No, I'm not starting him I'm not starting either rest of season over Mahomes. You agree with me there?
Let's take a quick look at those matchups. So Dallas has the Giants, which profiles to be great. These matchups where quarterbacks are very, very heavy favored, they can be great, but they also can lead to a 21-0 hole that the Giants are in that makes it the Tony Pollard show. And all of a sudden, does Dak even need to keep throwing?
Let me say one thing on that note. Dallas tends to like to knock out teams and look like a powerhouse. I think if they take a lead, they're just going to keep throwing.
And it's division rival, so there's definitely some of that at play there. And then Commanders, we're talking Sam Howell. It looks like the Commanders have the Seahawks, who have a pretty good defense. They did get boat race last week, but that's against one of the juggernauts of the league. So we're in lockstep there. I'd go Dak over Howell, and rest of season still Mahomes. Mahomes is right up there with Josh and Jalen and Lamar. I can't really think of anybody else other than those 4 that I'd rather start. Mm-hmm. Maybe Burrow has played his way into that conversation. I think Tua is fringe.
Yeah.
But Mahomes is still right there. So we're in lockstep there. Now give me your 2 out of the 4: Lockett, McLaurin, Chase, and Flowers.
I'm going Chase, and I'm probably going Lockett against that defense. So Chase is definite. Lockett is probably a definite unless something happens to change my mind over the next few days, but I doubt it.
Yeah, Chase is a huge definite, but also monitor that health. He did get a little banged up against Buffalo. I saw he might either be limited or sitting out of practice.
He showed up with his jersey on today.
Okay, so. Perfect. And there was, I don't know if you heard this, but last minute, this is breaking news from earlier today. T. Higgins has been ruled out this week already.
Yeah.
Which is like, he just had his breakout, got out of that game scot-free. He's in the post-game press conference holding the shoulder pads like a G after finally, saving the day for all his drafters. and 1 week later, it's the T Higgins experience this year. It's been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So RIP to the Higgins drafters, myself included. Of these 4, yeah, Flowers is just unfortunately hasn't played his way into any more significant of a role, it sucks because he's a great player, and when he plays, you see those flashes, but they're not going to him heavily. It's been a very run-heavy game plan. Baltimore plays the Browns, and they have a phenomenal defense. So yeah, I would probably avoid Flowers there and go with the same 2 of Chase and Lockett.
Now, this next question I absolutely love.
Okay, here we go. Warren and Lockett for Javonte, yes or no?
That is a huge yes for me.
Ooh.
Javonte has been getting fed. We're at the point in the season where he looks like he's completely healed from that injury, and he just looks like a beast. So if you can buy him for those 2 guys right now, I think that is a smash.
Would you encourage? I agree, especially because Mr. Squishy, I'm hoping that you have great receivers beyond those 2. If it's the league you have Chase and Flowers in, then hell yeah, just full send. But I'm wondering, as a rule demon, like let's extrapolate from the question a little bit. Is Javonte a buy for you, or is Javonte, because of all this perceived hype, he's still on a dumpster fire of a team? Does Javonte have a little bit of a sell appeal?
I think Javonte's a giant buy.
Just a
screaming buy. Yeah, screaming buy because the fact that he is on a garbage team. Look, again, we have Sean Payton, we have Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
This is a team that if all of a sudden things started to click for them, would any of us be surprised? This isn't, a Nathaniel Hackett-led Broncos team.
I honestly do think I would be surprised.
I don't know. I don't know that I would.
I think I would. But that's okay. I think good matchup this week should be able to get some stuff going against Buffalo. That's a pretty common, start your running backs against Buffalo.
It's gotta hurt for me to say.
Oh, hate it. Absolutely hate it. But that's that's the real one in me. Foreman or Taysom at flex, Demon. Last question before we send Squishy off into the sunset.
I'm gonna go Foreman. I don't know. Foreman is
he's in line for a big workload. No Herbert again tonight.
Yeah, tough defense though. Carolina's a tough defense, and they no Justin Fields there still. So I don't know. Taysom Hill has
he's on the touchdown streak, man.
Yeah. So I might just ride Taysom Hill and see what you get.
It's definitely not a bad position to be in. I think we've talked about this before, Demon. We're gonna use the same point we use every week. Mr. Squishy, if you're favored to win and you have a good little cushion, throw the safety of Foreman in there. But if you need nitrous, if you're down a little bit, you throw Taysom in there. He's that volatility that you want to inject in your lineup. So thank you for occupying the first 6th of our show. We appreciate you, Mr. Squishy. Jade Dragon is next up. Is it bad I bet on the money line for the Bears, even though I'm a Panthers fan? Maybe it will bring us a win. Demon, he's referring to the classic strategy of the emotional hedge. I'm a big fan of the emotional hedge.
Yeah. I think when you're gambling on football, you have to take your fandom out of it. That's what I would say.
I mean, yes and no, because I don't know about you, Demon, but I'm the kind of dude where, like, if I know that, like, say the Bill, like this past week, I bet on the Bengals because the Bills were underdogs and I didn't think they were going to win. So I was like, well, if the Bills lose, I'll at least have some money to take home. You know what I mean? There's a little bit of a strategy there. So I respect the strategy, Jade Dragon. But I don't think that it has anything to do with the outcome. We forgive you, and superstition aside, the cards will fall how they may. Thank you, Jade Dragon. We always appreciate you. Josh Brunner, start 1 at flex. Jacoby Myers, Tyler Lockett, or Jake Ferguson. Playing for the number 1 spot this week. Need all the help I can get.
Probably going Tyler Lockett. Jacoby Myers against the Jets defense. Even though if Zach Wilson's playing, so they're going to be a lot of 3 and outs, so the defense is probably going to be exhausted. And I do like what I see from Alex O'Connell, but I think Tyler Lockett's the safest play here.
Yeah, 100% agree. You got to give a little second look over to Ferguson. You got to figure he's got to have some sort of odds for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Because it's the Giants and they just are awful against everything and everyone. And Tommy DeVito is starting, so it's going to be a dumpster fire of a game. So that game script tends to favor the Cowboys. So I'm gonna agree with Demon. Lockett is the move. The Commanders secondary is not particularly special. It's been getting taken advantage of a lot this year, and they shipped house when it came to the D line. So that defense is significantly weaker than it was to start the season. So you'll see those numbers, I think, start to shift in favor of targeting the Commanders in the passing game. So Josh Brunner, Tyler Lockett all day. Next, we have Zion with 2 Z's and 2 Y's, Mr. Zion. PPR start 1, Laporta or Kincaid, and start 2, PPR, Montgomery, Bijan, Kamara, and Pollard.
I'm going Laporta over Kincaid. That's easy for me. Start 2 in PPR, Montgomery, Bijan, Kamara, Pollard. I am going to go Kamara, and I want to go Kamara and Pollard, but I wouldn't hate you for going Bijan because there could be a chance that Arthur Smith has come to his senses and says, you know what, I think he's at a point where it's like, listen, man, you have to start giving the ball to your playmakers, or you're just going to be out of a job, So I don't know, but I'm going to go Kamara and Pollard. That's the safest play, and Laporta.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Laporta choice because it was a slam dunk for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking at Kincaid, who's been in a PPR league, 8 receptions for 75 yards, 5 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown, 10 receptions for 81 yards. Yeah. That's a 3-week stretch. He's NBA Jam rules. He's sizzling right now, man.
Yeah.
He's on fire. Comparing that to Laporta's last 3 games, which I'm pulling up the numbers now. But so I can't really speak for sure on, because that's a tight end 1 performance 3 weeks in a row. And Laporta, meanwhile, we're looking at same situation. 4 for 36, 6 for 52, and 8 for 57 and a touchdown. He's tight end 1 in 2 out of those 3 games. So similar success-ish. Kincaid's a little bit hotter, but why the slam dunk?
It's a slam dunk for me because he's Sam Laporta, and Sam Laporta has become the number 1 fantasy tight end. He's, in my opinion, in Dynasty, he has surpassed Travis Kelce.
Oh, wow.
So when we look at, I know Kincaid's on a hot streak, but when you have somebody like that you is going to be consistent, I'm sticking with that. A guy that's on a hot streak for 3 games, I'm waiting for the wheels to fall off. They could possibly fall off. I need to see a little more of it with Laporta. We've already seen it already. I feel more comfortable with that. I think their ceiling's about the same too.
I would tend to agree with that. And I think Laporta's proven to have a little bit higher of a floor.
Yeah.
So I don't hate your process. I mean, Bills fandom aside, Kincaid was the guy coming into the year. Denver tends to be horrible against tight ends, and I would like to think the Bills are going to try to have a get right game this week, and I think that could mean fireworks. But I don't hate either play. Zion, you're very lucky to have both. And then for the next question, you said Bijan and who?
I said Kamara and Pollard.
Oh, Kamara and Pollard?
I said I wouldn't hate if you started Bijan over Pollard.
I think I would agree. Nah, Demon. And it sucks because Tony Pollard has been such a disappointment this year. Yeah. For where you drafted him, he has not lived up to the hype at all. But that being said, Kamara is a PPR machine. If it's PPR, he's got to be close to the top 5. I mean, with how consistent he's been. And then Pollard in that matchup, like I said, it could be the Tony Pollard show based on how quickly that game could get out of hand.
Absolutely.
So we have XR here, and he wants to know Zay or D-Hop this week, Demon.
What's going on, Fish? He calls me dad all the time. I don't know why.
I love it. Very funny.
Zay Flowers and D-Hop.
He's in the chat.
I'm going D-Hop, absolutely. Levis has got eyes for him. He is a beast. He's been a beast. Who knows what this passing volume is going to look like for the Ravens? So I'm going D-Hop pretty easily.
That's very interesting. So remind me again, the Titans matchup. Who do they got?
Titans are playing the Bucks.
Okay, so the Bucks are pretty good against the pass on the year. They've been getting worse progressively. They started out hot. Last couple of weeks, they've been. Do you think that's a case of the metrics just shifting? And do you think the Bucks are going to eventually be one of those green teams to target?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because That's the thing, man. Early stretches of the season, they tend to inform our decision making for much longer than they should.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would agree with you there. Zay Flowers just feels like a safer pick. All right, are
D-Hop.
we?
Well, I said D-Hop.
Oh, you said Diop.
Yeah.
That's yeah. No, that's what I meant. Sorry. We're catching up on the chat. Justin, I saw 2 super flexes and I got money signs in my eyes. You guys, I'm so happy that we have Justin Ziegler here every week to hold it down for us. Demon, Evan Ingram or Dalton Schultz this week?
Thank you very much, Justin. Dalton Schultz. That's another one that's pretty easy for me. I know it's a tough matchup, but I'm not the biggest fan of Trevor Lawrence. I haven't been.
Yeah, you've made that clear on the show.
I know he targets Evan Ingram, but the Texans, man, they just look. Their offense just looks like it's clicking. So I'm going to go Dalton Schultz. I mean, how many targets did he have last week? I think he had like 10 or something like that.
Dalton Schultz, yeah, and was it 2 touchdowns too?
He had
a monster game.
I'm just going to ride that for as long as I can.
Yeah, no, I do tend to agree. And the Jaguars matchup is terrible. The 49ers are a very good defense. They just are coming off a bye week. Kyle Shanahan off a bye week is very good. And also, I don't really know necessarily if you want to mess around with a team that's slumping as hard as the Niners are. I think they're going to be sort of like the caged animal effect. So good question, Justin. Thank you. Next up, we have Justin Ziegler with another super chat, the absolute GOAT. He has Gibbs at flex right now, and for tight ends, he has Schultz and Ingram. Should he keep Gibbs in the flex and 1 tight end, or use both tight ends? So similar to his last question, just kind of piggybacking.
Well, so we said Schultz. I'm going Gibbs over Ingram as a flex. 100%. Yeah, there's no question about that.
It's tough because Montgomery's coming back. So it's kind of scary, right? Like you kind of have that fear of like, what's the role going to turn into?
Yeah.
But that being said, you got to risk it for the biscuit in fantasy football. I think Gibbs, you drafted him that high for a reason. Takedo Luna, the GOAT, back in the chat. Good to see you, Takedo. Garrett Wilson for Tank Dell and Noah Brown, Demon.
I would talk smack here, by the way, to Takedo and say the Jets are going to kick the Raiders' ass this week, but he wants that to happen because he wants the Raiders to tank. So, Garrett Wilson for Tank Dell and Noah Brown. If I am the one getting Garrett Wilson, I think I'm taking that because I think there's going to be a quarterback change. If you get a Trevor Siemian in there, he's going to get usage out of Garrett Wilson. Zach Wilson's even kind of gotten usage out of Garrett Wilson, and he's terrible. And then on the chance that Aaron Rodgers could come back down the stretch, which is, I know it's an off chance, but if he does, and you're the guy that traded Garrett Wilson in that situation, you are going to kick yourself. So I am definitely going Garrett Wilson for that in that deal.
Yeah, you got to go Garrett Wilson for the floor. His floor is so much higher. Yeah. Both of those players, Tank Dell and Noah Brown, their floor is close to 0. And they're great players. And Tank Dell is very close to the Exquisite Gamer asked a question we're going to get to in a second, but a little teaser to my answer. I do think Tank Dell is close to every week flexibility. Yeah. You could throw him in your flex any given week, and that boom potential that he has, that's the perfect example of a nitrous player that you throw in there when you need to. And Noah Brown is we're just starting to see this breakout. I do like the player. He's pretty high up on my list of like waiver wire guys this week that I want and that I'd be comfortable with playing, but I want to see it a little bit more consistently. So yeah, you got to hold your cards there with Garrett Wilson. He could be, talent wise, he's one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
So whether or not that turns into fantasy gold this year remains to be seen, but it sure as hell won't be anything less than bronze. So good question there, Takedo. And then Demon, this opens the door for you to answer the Exquisite Gamers question. Is Tank Dell a viable fantasy option over Drake London this week?
Yeah, he absolutely is. Again, what do you expect from Drake London? We don't know. We don't know what the hell Arthur Smith is going to do. This is a guy who's saying, well, we're going to keep Bijan away from the ball because he's a guy that they drafted in the first round.
What a dick.
That is just, look, he knows more about football than I will ever know in my entire life, an offensive philosophy.
You're being humble.
But I do know if you draft a playmaker of that caliber in the first round, keeping him away from the ball does you no good. Giving Jonnu Smith as many goal line carries as him does you no good. It's probably why you're in the position you're in. So
it's blasphemous.
Yeah. So to answer your question without peeing on Arthur Smith anymore than I already have. Tank Dell is
feel
absolutely,
free.
yeah.
I think he's opened himself up to it.
He's opened himself up to urine.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think it's very justifiable. As far as Drake London goes this week, they are playing the Cardinals, so that's a very favorable matchup. Falcons should finally get something going. They did have a pretty atrocious game last week. Deserved to lose that game. It was very beautiful to watch Josh Dobbs really stick it to him, twist the knife a little bit. But they do have their guys that will produce every week. And unfortunately, it looks like Jonnu Smith is just one of them. I think Drake London is right up there in terms of consistent and reliable options, but I would maybe still go with Tank Dell anyway, just based on the ceiling. Yeah. So good question. Gamer, we have AP Frost. Vikings defense plays the Saints. Should I start them or look to the waivers? I'm looking towards waivers.
What's going on, AP? I would like to know who is on your waiver wire. A little more context would help me better answer this question.
That would help. Let's talk about whether or not the Vikings defense is viable regardless, before we get to the extra options.
Yeah, I mean, if that's who you have, then they have to be.
You're like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
because the Saints, look, they're not exactly scary. They're not a scary matchup for your defense, but
it's not a slam dunk. Like, I don't look at it and say, "Oh, go pick up the Vikings," because it's going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, and the Saints, they're not striking fear into anybody, and the Vikings, under Brian Flores, their defense has gotten a lot better. It looks a lot more viable.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Mr. Frost, I think I'll probably agree with Demon. Hit the wire and let us know who you got. Maybe throw us a comment of the other options, and then we'll circle back to you. All right. Steve McGarrett traded Herbert for Goff. Do you think that was a bad trade?
In seasonal, no. In dynasty, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can respect that. Herbert, man, has he not felt like the guy this year?
Yeah.
And I hate to do it. I hate to do the victory laps. But I just didn't think he was. I hate being right. Especially when it's about a guy who I want to like. I think he's the rocket arm guy. He's the LA guy with the nice hair, and I think he's middle of the pack. I think he's Kirk Cousins with a howitzer, and that's not bad.
Really? I think he's had a bad stretch, but I don't know that I'm ready to say that.
It'll be fun to see where his career goes. Do you think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league?
If I was starting a franchise right now, I would pick him over Josh Allen.
Oh my God.
I would.
That is absolutely ridiculous. I still respect you despite your absolutely asinine.
I would pick Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen too.
Hey, I can't fault you. More for me. More 17 for me. He would probably be in the top 5 based on age and based on skill set, but I don't know about based on what he's actually done. You know what I mean? It's all forecasted.
What has Josh Allen done?
His team was
he had a good 13 seconds against
his team was in the AFC Championship. He has 3 playoff wins. I think more.
All right.
He's
how many turnovers does he have?
Oh, he has more touchdowns than anybody. You could say he has more turnovers than anybody. He also has more touchdowns than anybody.
So listen, I love Brett Favre, and we could say the same thing about him. So.
Yeah. Demon, you of all people should love Josh Allen. You're just confused. It's okay. Hate is closer to love than indifference. You secretly love Josh Allen. I forgive you.
We'll see.
For your blasphemous takes. We have Amon-Ra or Keenan Allen for week 10.
I'm going Amon-Ra because of the same reason that you just said. Justin Herbert struggled. I love Keenan Allen, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is a monster. To me, he's the next Cooper Kupp. He's just going to be a target hog. So I'm going Amon-Ra. I
could totally see that. And against the Chargers, very, very good matchup. Hell, Zach Wilson threw for 260 on the Chargers. They're actually a pretty legit. They're actually a pretty good defense to target for fantasy quarterbacks. If it weren't for Zach Wilson's inability to sense pressure, there would have been a lot more points on the board in that game.
An ability to do a lot of things.
Yeah, it was tough. It was a tough watch. I have to be completely honest with you. By the end of the game, I was very focused on what was happening in the NBA.
We pivoted to Zach Wilson after I just crapped all over Josh Allen. So okay.
Yeah, hey, it's all good. I forgive you. I'm telling you, I know you're confused.
You forgive me. Let's go to the next question.
I'll send you some highlights, and you'll fall in love with 17. We have Michael Gupton here. Gibbs, Jacobs, Ayuk, Thielen, pick 2.
Oh, man. I don't think
that's
I'm
a good
going. Yeah,
that's a good litter.
Yeah, I want to say I want to say Jacobs and Gibbs, but I don't trust Jacobs against the Jets defense this week.
It could be risky.
Yeah,
Eckler had an okay game.
Yeah, he did. Thielen, but he's more of a pass catcher though. Thielen against this Bears defense looks very interesting to me.
I think so too. Actually, I think Thielen might be a smash play.
I like Thielen, and I'm probably going to ride Gibbs until they give me a reason not to.
Yeah. Gibbs, it's kind of similar to the Kincaid effect, where it's like he's hot right now. NBA Jam, keep him in your lineup because you're getting that. You're getting that dosage of explosiveness. Montgomery is scary, but yeah, I think Gibbs and Thielen's not a bad 2-pack here. Honestly, we did kind of not really address Ayuk. Are you starting Ayuk this week against the Jags?
I'm having trouble with the whole Brock Purdy thing because I think they're not going to trust him throwing the football as much. And they're going to try to run that offense more and more through Christian McCaffrey. So Ayuk is a question mark for me. Talent-wise, he's not. But because of the situation right now, and I think San Francisco is in a little bit of panic mode because there's a possibility if this continues and they have to come back from behind, they could lose a string of games and maybe see themselves on the outside looking in when it comes to playoff time. So I'm taking a wait and see approach with Ayuk to see what happens with that offense, what it looks like more. Thielen looks like a slam dunk to me, and we've seen it with Gibbs already. That feels safer, and they're absolutely not bad plays. So
yeah, really, none of the 4 are. Like I said, good litter. I'd probably go Gibbs and Thielen as well. With Ayuk, actually, no, with Jacobs being my first alternate, I do think there's going to be, if the Raiders are going to get anything going at all against the Jets, which Antonio Pierce has them playing very fired up, I think Jacobs is probably going to be the guy to start out of all the Jets. Out of all the Raiders, I should say. Tough situation for the Davante Adams owners. I don't know what to tell you. There aren't any of you in the chat because they're probably all, coddled up in a blanket in the fetal position, rocking back and forth. It's been a tough season for Davante Adams owners. Elijah Israel wants to know, should I trade McLaurin and Javonte for Jalen Waddle?
Oh, I'm not trading Javonte, even for Jalen Waddle.
We've established.
Yeah. So I think
but it's the twofer though.
It is.
Oh, you just
Well, he's given up McLaurin and Javonte.
It would make it worse for you. Yeah. It wouldn't bring you closer. Yeah.
Because McLaurin hasn't been bad.
No, it's been pretty good, yeah.
I think the arrow's pointing up on Javonte. And with Waddle, we're getting into the colder months now. Can the Dolphins beat good teams? We don't know. If they have to play in poor weather, I don't think this offense is going to look great. Tua doesn't look good when he has to play from behind, really, or when he goes up against a team that's physical. So, I love Jalen Waddle's talent, but like I said, Javonte's a screaming buy for me right now. I'm not packaging him up with anybody for a number 2 on an offense that pops sometimes and other times doesn't.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. If Waddle had put together any sort of a consistent stretch in the early going, I would consider this more, but he hasn't. And it's heartbreaking and it's unfortunate because you spent high draft capital on him and he has this air about him that he's a wide receiver 1, but it hasn't been the case this year. Let's just be real, right?
I'm hitting this guy right here.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go. What up, Zeno? Zeno Scion? Let's go. Are my Cowboys a good or bad team? I think good.
Zeno, okay, I'm going to give you my honest opinion of the Cowboys, and I'm not a Cowboys hater. I have no reason to be a Cowboys hater. I think the Cowboys are what they've been. They're a team that can beat up on bad teams and a team that will look horrible against powerful teams. And now the Philly game, they didn't look bad. But again, it's Philly in a divisional matchup. I kind of expect those games to be a little closer. I expect them to, be grinds. And Dallas isn't a team with a roster that's horrible. It's going to get beat up horribly by a team in their division like Philly. But we saw what the Niners did to them. I wouldn't say I'd say they're a good team. I wouldn't say they're a great team. I definitely wouldn't call them a bad team. But at the end of that Philly game, I mean, that game was theirs to be had, and the quarterback and the coach blew it. blew the game. You got a sack, incompletion, penalty. So I mean, that is just that is absolutely undisciplined play, and it shows you can't rely on that quarterback. So when you have that situation and a quarterback you can't rely on, a coach you can't rely on, you could be a good team, but you're like on the lower end of are they good or not?
Yeah, I actually have no exceptions to what Demon said. I think their defense is pretty exceptional. If they were fully healthy, I think they were a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big hurt. Dak looks like the best part of the offense right now. I know he's sus in big moments and in big games, but he does look very, very good this year.
So CeeDee Lamb looks good.
CeeDee Lamb is such a monster.
Yeah.
Good weapons.
Yeah.
They always manage to find those 6'5" slow tight ends that can just catch everything thrown at them. It's just kind of their specialty. So
I'll say Dak has looked better than I thought he would.
Yeah.
But he's still Dax.
Yeah, no, I get it. I do understand where the Cowboys criticisms come from. I think I would put them in that next tier beneath the Chiefs and the Eagles and the 49ers, like that elite. I think they're in the very good, like can win if they get hot at the right time.
They'll be a playoff team.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
Going anywhere in the playoffs.
Probably not. We've seen it year in and year out. They've kind of given us no reason to believe in them. But regardless, we appreciate you for asking. That was very brave of you. The Cowboys are low-hanging fruit. People love dunking on the Cowboys. I hope you enjoyed our honest opinions without any bells and whistles. Justin Beeson wants to know, traded Puka for Devontae Smith, yay or nay?
I'm going to applaud this over here.
We have an off-camera applaud.
Because everybody, I've been saying for a while, get rid of Puka. Get what you can for Puka. And Devonta Smith, down the stretch, I said it last week, is going to see more and more volume. So I think this was a brilliant trade, Justin. I think I would applaud you again if it want to take up more time.
And Demon, you're right, because you know what else, too, about Devontae that makes him such a good buy right now is the Dallas Goedert injury.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith has moved from the 2A to just the 2. There really isn't another number 2 mouth to feed in that offense. Now it's just A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So outside of DeAndre Swift, Jalen Hurts, and A.J. Brown, that's the guy on Philly you want, and they have a great offense. So
and Puka's going to have Carson Wentz thrown to him, maybe.
I don't hate Puka. I was saying the same thing that you were saying, Demon, that you should sell your shares.
Yeah.
Not because I thought that the roof was going to cave in, but because I never thought the value would be that high again.
Yeah.
So, good job, Justin. You know what?
Fantastic. There we go. Look at that.
You got 2. You got 2 from us. You got a thumbs up and two applauses. Those are some good numbers. Rhett, I just want to give a shout out to the future telling device.
Oh, Rhett was
absolutely beautiful reference there to the Demon universe. Michael, Gibbs, Jacobs, Ayuk, Thielen, pick 3, please.
Well, we kind of went over this question before. We picked Thielen and Gibbs. And then I think we both agreed that we would trust Jacobs over Ayuk.
There you go. Is it in there twice? Is that what happened?
There was a pick 2 before, and then this was a pick 3. So I don't know if it was the same guy or not.
All right. Adrian Garza, start 2. Judy, Chuba, Dodson, Watson, Demon.
Okay. So for me, Chuba is absolutely a start. I think he looks better than Miles Sanders to me. And I think they're going to be able to move the ball. Chicago can't tackle, so Chuba's a screaming start for me. Oh man, John, I think I might go Judy over Dotson.
It's dicey.
It is dicey.
I don't like your choices here, Adrian. I'd say waiver wire.
Nah, I don't know. Who's on the waiver wire though? Definitely not going Christian Watson, but it's definitely Chuba and it's between Judy or Dotson for me. One of those guys could have a bigger game. Because it's Buffalo, I'm probably going to go Judy because I don't like Buffalo secondary. So, and we saw them get picked apart by Giants Joe Burrow, I know, but still.
I mean, it was really just T. Higgins, though. Jamar Chase got, for the most part, locked up.
Yeah, and then so Judy's going to be that guy, though. Judy's going to be the number 2 guy.
You think Sutton gets locked up and then they funnel targets to Judy? Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I think in plus matchups, I'd take that secondary over, for example, I don't know, man. Chuba is tough. People love Chuba, He's gotten all this love this year. It's like he's like a darling.
He looks
I
better
don't.
than Miles Sanders, man.
Well, I mean,
yeah. Well, I know, but they gave him a ton of money,
no,
though.
and I love Miles Sanders. I've been very disappointed in what Miles Sanders has done this year. He's looked bad, which sucks. I think a lot of it is health related. But Chuba is, to me, he's nothing special, and that's an unpopular opinion. But I'll say it with my chest, right? We're on the Fantasy Q&A show. We're saying how we feel.
Yeah.
I think it's I think I'd go with Dotson. Maybe I might go Dotson and Watson, the attorneys at law.
Watson.
Dotson and Watson. Watson's a dart throw, man. He's a.
They're going to be able to run the ball. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, I feel you. No, I get that. It's I don't think his options are good here. But the Steelers secondary is also bad. Steelers secondary is terrible.
As is Jordan Love.
That's true too. That's true too. I forgot about the throwing part. It's not just catching. Yeah. Adrian, our vote is prayers. I think that's Adrian,
my vote. Just so you know, my vote is Chuba and Judy. He's trying to get out of this by not giving you a straight answer. I'm telling you, Chuba and
Watson,
Judy.
Bro, attorneys at law.
Dotson and Watson. All right.
I'm doing it. I don't feel good about it. Over under little Joshy 3 picks, Demon.
You always take the over on Josh Allen and picks. Always take
the over. You think
4? 5 maybe.
Let's throw 50 on it. I don't care about the odds. I'll throw 50. We have Jabril Gaming. Waddle and Pacheco are Hollywood, Brown, and Pollard.
Hollywood and Pollard. This is so easy with Call of Duty boy back that he's going to target Hollywood Brown and Pollard. Yeah. That's
yeah. That is a little tougher for me.
How?
Because I think that I know Waddle is scary, and I know we're like a little bit like turned off by him, but what you think Hollywood Brown's going to be special rest of season?
Yes.
How special? Wide receiver 1?
Incredibly special. I think he is going to be
12?
wide receiver 1.
You do?
I think it's in his range of outcomes. Yeah. I mean, Kyler Murray, we forget Kyler. We tend to forget how good
was here. McFadden would light you up for this one. You're unchecked right now.
Loves Jordan Love and Romeo Dobbs.
He does. So he does.
What he says does not hurt.
You're like, his opinion doesn't count. He loves
Hollywood
Jordan Love.
Brown is I love Hollywood Brown. The McFadden also hates Rashad White, who's just scoring points all over the place.
And that's one that you and I are gonna dunk on him on that one. But we all need our guy to tag team with us. Listen, Demon, on the air, we'll have the chat take note of it so that we can keep ourselves accountable.
Yeah,
I'm going to bet you that Hollywood Brown's not a wide receiver 1 rest of season. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
All right.
But it's Kyler Murray has to be the quarterback, though.
Okay, that's
Kyler
fair.
Murray
We can lock that in.
Yeah.
Bet will void if Hollywood's hurt or Kyler's hurt, but I don't think so. I don't know about Waddle either, but I like Pacheco quite a bit. I think I'd still go with the Hollywood and Pollard side just because Pollard's upside is so high. And my goodness, when will we see it? It's so frustrating. It's been such a frustrating season for Pollard owners. They're crying with the Devontae owners
and the Pacheco owners.
This is kind of a dumpster fire of a trade all around, Jabril. Maybe sit this one out. Michael, I think he asked this question 15 times.
We got it.
Charlie, Dell, Foreman, or Pickens as my flex?
I'm going Tank Dell. And I love your avatar, Charlie. Boom! Look at that.
Boom.
Look at that.
Hey, Salah is a handsome man.
Xerxes in the flesh.
He's a handsome man.
He is handsome. Yeah.
All right. Bravens wants to know Gus Edwards, Baby Cook, or Adam Thielen start 2.
Start 2. I'm going Adam Thielen and Gus Edwards. I know you're going to give me this long-winded explanation as to why James Cook is the greatest running back ever.
Bro. It's very okay. I see. If I'm biased for them, you're biased against them. The show really balances out there.
It does.
It really does. Adam Thielen is a good play tonight. I do really like Adam Thielen tonight. And the Ravens, man, it's a bad matchup against Cleveland. I might go Baby Cook. Baby Cook and Adam Thielen. I just don't like the chances that the Ravens-Browns game isn't a 13-10 slobber knocker, you know?
Yeah, James Cook does have that 2 reception for 10 yards upside, so.
Hey, it's good upside. You're looking at a top 7 rusher in the league, but go off. Remy wants to know, Gus, Barkley, Connor, pick 2.
I'm not trusting Connor just yet because of the injury. I want to see it first. I think I don't know if he's actually playing or not, but so I'm going Barkley and Gus.
Yeah, I think you got to go Barkley because I think he is the only player on the Giants with a pulse.
30 touches.
Yeah, probably that might be being modest.
Yeah.
So I would probably, yeah, that's probably going to be a Barkley and Connor for me. Are you locked in on that one?
I'm going Barkley and Gus because I don't know what the deal with
So you're
Connor's
not
injury.
scared off of Gus at all from the Cleveland matchup?
I'm not scared of Gus. I mean, if the Ravens can move the ball. The Ravens have a phenomenal offensive line. They can move the ball, and if they're going to be within the 20, within the 10, they're going to be in the red zone, and they're going to give it to Gus. And do I think Gus Edwards could get that push at the goal line? Yeah, absolutely.
It's dicey, but
Yeah.
I respect the process. I'd go Barkley and Connor. I don't know how this got in there. I didn't put this in there. I'm not even a Josh Allen fan, but I would take him over Herbert. Takedo, I knew there was a reason I loved you.
Takedo also loves Mark Sanchez.
It's not just your awesome name. I also just happen to think
he's
really
got a lot
good football
flawed.
opinions.
There's a lot of flawed things going on with Takedo.
All right, we have Ryan Patrone here. Great name. Also, we're really bringing the heat in the chat. I traded away JT and Rashee Rice for Pollard and Ayuk. Good or bad?
I don't love getting rid of JT, but you did get 2 startable assets in return for him. Rashee Rice is just a guy who you're plugging in if you have no other choice.
Dart throw, right? Bit of a boom bust guy.
Yeah, for 2 guys that you would start every week. So I'd say this is a good deal.
Yeah, I like it too. JT could have league winning upside, but
yeah,
like we said, we're waiting on it from Pollard, and Ayuk isn't exactly a bad option. We're just a little bit nervous.
Pollard's another guy that I think could be a buy. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but I mean, he could just pop towards the end of the season.
And the best buys are the ones that don't feel great when you do it.
Yeah.
And just like with the best sells with your Puka call. I mean, if you traded Puka when Demon told you to, you're probably a lot better off now than you would be. Yeah. You're getting more Puka value than you are now. You're still getting Puka value, but not as much. Yeah. Marcus Valdez Scantling. This is our new guy every week. MVS. What's up, MVS? Good afternoon. I have a dilemma. Because of buys, I have to choose between Chase and DJ Moore. Would you risk Chase playing or start DJ tonight? Thank you.
I probably wouldn't start DJ Moore tonight regardless, because that Carolina defense is good, and it's not Justin Fields throwing to him. So I'm going to risk it with Chase. I'm going to risk it with Chase, and then just if I'd like to see who else you have, that maybe somebody on the waiver wire you're thinking of picking up just in case Chase doesn't play. I think Chase is going to play. I don't think with the Bengals being this hot, I don't think Chase, unless Chase can't move or something happens that really hurts him in some way, I think he's going to play. But I don't love DJ Moore tonight regardless. I might not start him. There are a lot of guys I think I would start over him tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm with Demon on this one. Unfortunately, you are going to lose the chance to start DJ Moore if you don't start him tonight, but risk Chase playing and have a backup plan. Yeah. Have another guy on your bench that you can just throw in a pinch.
Kevin Phillips, maybe, right?
Yeah, Kevin Phillips Fox.
In a PPR. No. What is his name?
Kyle Phillips. I'm with you. I'm like, hey, I can
Kyle Phillips.
You got to stop the old cleats.
Get Kyle Phillips. Will Levis seems to have some chemistry with him, so he could be good for like 4
somebody
targets.
Like that. Yeah. Curtis Samuel, Jamison Crowder, somebody gross like that, Yeah. All right. Charlie wants to know, Dell, Foreman, or Pickens. Did we answered this one?
Yeah, we said Dell.
I do love the repeated questions, though. These people are very dedicated to getting their questions answered. I appreciate it. Jade Dragon wants to know if he should trade Devontae Adams, and if so, who he should trade him for.
These questions are always tough because I would like to know what you need, who you have in mind. So, Jade, if you're here, follow up with that. Let us know.
Context helps.
Yeah, context helps because, I mean, I don't know what your team looks like. So me telling you to trade Devontae Adams, I could end up hurting your team by saying yes.
Let's throw out some names that we would trade Devontae Adams for.
Ramondre Stevenson.
You would. Okay. I think I would too.
Yeah.
Obviously you would for Tony Pollard as well, given what.
Given the situation over there, I would probably. I would probably want a little more for Pollard. I think you can get a little more. With Pollard because he hasn't been all he's been cracked up to be.
Yeah.
So I think you'd be overpaying just based on what we've seen for Pollard and the name value of Devontae Adams. You might be able to get a little more. I don't know that I would do it straight up. You can get a lot for Devontae Adams. So you see the way I make trades in our league, right? I shop around. I look.
Oh, I love
talk
it.
to people and I see who Who's going to give me the most value? Who could use a guy like Devontae Adams? Who's looking at making a push if you're in a dynasty league or something?
Yeah, definitely utilize the trade block. That's something that we've seen Demon do quite effectively in our sleeper league. Throw them up on the trade block, see what you get. Leverage other people's offers against them. But at the end of the day, just remember, true love conquers all. You can't break up with your trade partner. That's an important rule.
True love conquers all. We got another Zeno $2
there we go,
super chat. Look at that.
One last question from Zeno. Odds Cowboys make NFC Championship game. He projects 20%. Demon, what do you think?
I think that's fair. I think 20% is fair. I'm trying to think of the teams that they're going to be that they could possibly, like, if they have to face a Detroit, which is probably going to be the case, then I would say the chances of them winning that game are probably more like 10 to 15%. So I think 20% might be the ceiling.
Okay, yeah, I think that's not a bad call. Well, we're looking at Philly. We're looking at Detroit.
We're looking at the Niners,
San Francisco.
Maybe Niners. But if the Niners continue to struggle and they're on the outside looking in, you have Seattle there. I think the Cowboys can beat Seattle.
I do too, actually. Yeah. If Seattle is their divisional draw, I do think that's lucky for them, and they could probably squeak into the NFC Championship game.
And then what in the South? What are we looking at?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Saints.
Maybe
the Falcons.
But one of the teams they would probably have to face is, let's say for argument's sake, the Eagles get the bye. Maybe the Vikings. Yeah. So
the 7.
But if they are that team that has to play the 2 seed, I don't love that.
They might just lose in the wild card, unfortunately. Yeah, which sucks. I mean, because it happens every year, but you're getting closer and closer to seeing maybe Dallas get ready to reshuffle the deck a little bit around Dak, because I think Dak can do it. I just don't think I don't think they have the coach for it.
I think what we see is a repeat of last year. Like, they maybe go up against a weaker team and in the wild card, they destroy them, and then the following week they can't hang with the bigger teams. Yeah,
it's an interesting one for sure. All right, Zeno, we appreciate the super chats though. You're an absolute king. You have to know that. Takeda wants to know. He's just naming quarterbacks that he thinks are better. We have a lot of beef in the chat tonight.
There's a lot of beef.
I love the energy, guys. Like, let's keep it nice. And
this is nothing new for a Pro Football Demon chat. These guys go at each other.
Let's go. Here we go. We got one here.
Yeah.
I traded Elijah Moore, Ramondre Stevenson, and 2 first-round picks for McCaffrey and Musgrave in Dynasty. Thoughts?
Ooh, well, all right. The 2 first-round picks I don't love. But McCaffrey is probably going to be RB1 again next year. And Musgrave I do like, but I don't know that I would have added the 2 firsts to that. Stevenson is on the uptick right now. Elijah Moore is just a guy, but kind of like a dart throw. Maybe he'll be something, maybe he won't.
Mm-hmm.
But the 2 first-round picks, if this is a situation where this is a move with McCaffrey could put you over the top to win, but this year, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking to make your team better and you're kind of in the middle, I don't love it.
Yeah, you're giving up quite a bit. It's definitely hard to see Ramondre and 2 firsts go. But I think McCaffrey, you got to pay the iron price for a star like McCaffrey. That's just the name of the game. Demons learned that in our league. He's absolutely I don't want to say fleecing people, but he's making sure
I'm not fleecing people. Get out of here.
He gets his value. We'll just say that much.
Look, I know what I'm giving up, right? So I don't just give players away.
And you have to figure the CMC manager knows that too. So it's nice that you got Musgrave. I might have done it even without Musgrave because McCaffrey is that good. It's sort of like getting a star in the NBA. Sometimes you just have to pay a king's ransom. It's just the name of the game. I don't hate the move at all, Charlie.
So I'm looking at keep trade cut right now.
Yeah.
The 2 firsts are worth about almost a 10,000 point value. And then the two pieces, McCaffrey and Musgrave are about 12,000. If I add Stevenson, then it's an even trade. So according to keep trade cut, it's an even trade, even with more. So, all right. Yeah. I mean,
cool. And you're getting the better player. You're getting the best player.
Yeah.
The first suck, but McCaffrey, I mean, the durability of McCaffrey this year is something we've never seen in his whole career, really, other than the handful of seasons to start his career. So I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for you that you got your hands on Christian McCaffrey. One of these is in store for you.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
For sure. You got a really good player. We got Zeno coming back in just to tell us he loves our content. We appreciate you
you're
so much.
a gentleman and a scholar.
You really are, Zeno. You're a king, just so you know.
And if you follow my content, don't take anything about that I say about the Cowboys to heart. Well, that the teacher says. I don't say
there you
anything
go.
bad myself.
Can you also say the same thing to Bills fans, Demon?
No,
okay,
absolutely not.
Fair. I will take it all to heart. We have Jay Dragon coming back, lending some perspective on the Adams trade.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what he has.
Okay, so he has Eckler, Ford, Swift, Thielen, Andrews, AJ Brown. Oh, you have a yeah. Then see if you can trade Devontae Adams for something else that
maybe a tight end.
Yeah, maybe.
Andrews.
Mark Andrews. Yeah.
What do you really need?
Maybe for 2 pieces. That's what I'm saying.
Running
2
back?
pieces
No,
that
Swift,
could.
Eckler.
Yeah, I mean Eckler, Ford, Swift.
Maybe he should hold. Because if he gets Devontae Adams, it's like the last. If he gets full strength Devontae Adams, it's like the last Infinity Stone.
But in this situation, if you could trade a Devontae Adams for a Jonathan Taylor, or you could trade him for a Ramondre Stevenson plus, would you do that? I think I would do that.
Yeah, the Jonathan Taylor one, I don't think they would do it, but the Ramondre plus, they might. It's always worth checking. I mean, I offered Pro Football Demon a Nick Chubb, a third, and
Adam Thielen.
For
Amon-Ra St. Brown and Rashad White. And then he followed up with, after my laughing faces, he followed up with, no, but seriously, I'm genuinely curious as to why you
into a trade calculator, and it was like my phone broke. My phone was like, stop trying to do this, Kevin. Like you're being toxic.
And that's when he hit me up on Twitter.
And that was when I realized I needed to do the extra. I had needed to go the extra mile. T Zinch. Dak, T-Law, or Goff this week?
I'm going Goff.
Okay.
Goff has the best
Goff. So we got Detroit against
T-Law's got a bad matchup.
LA. T-Law has a bad matchup. Dak's got some upside, Demon. And you did say you thought the Cowboys might try to throttle this week.
I did say that. But I'm still going Goff.
Goff's game projects to be more competitive, right? Which we love shootouts for our quarterbacks. That always is a great recipe for success in fantasy football.
And then what are more picks than Josh Allen this week?
Oh, take it easy. Hey. Say a prayer for my Bills fans out there listening to the show. It's just this guy. I support you all. I'm with you. I know I'm out of my mind, but I'm stashing Rondale Moore before he hits waiver wire next week. Thoughts on that, Demon?
I don't think it's the worst idea. Again, with Kyler Murray coming back, I mean, this offense is going to see an uptick. I do love Michael Wilson, though. I think Michael Wilson is a guy, if he's out there on the waiver wire, you should grab and stash. I would stash him over Rondale Moore. But I don't think it's the worst idea. If you have room to stash somebody, you have a top quarterback coming back, a guy who can be a top quarterback coming back, and an offense that has looked good with Joshua Dobbs, who's one of the smartest men in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a horrible idea. But again, I would go Michael Wilson if he's available over him.
Okay, cool. I'm not going to lie to you, man. If Rondale Moore does happen to have a good game this week, I'm going to sell him on the promise that he's a former second-round pick and Kyler Murray's back and this is the new normal.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of mouths to feed. You got Demons wide receiver one, Hollywood Brown over there. Trey McBride's going to command some looks. James Conner. There's only one football. And Arizona didn't all of a sudden become a top 5 offense.
Right. So, and Kyler Murray, I mean, could get injured again.
It is possible. Yeah. Hopefully not, knock on wood. The league's better when there's more studs.
Yeah. We don't wish for an injury for anybody. But
I have loved Kyler in the past, man. He's got some feet, let me tell you.
Yeah.
All right. We're looking at Devontae Smith, Tank Dell, or Puka. Pick 2. I'm also starting Amon-Ra.
I'm starting Devontae Smith and Tank Dell.
So Demon hates Puka.
Yeah.
That's officially, that narrative is officially taken off.
Puka can go leave this chat right now.
There's some real legs over here to the Demon hates Puka narrative. This
is Remy Oddikins. He's a fixture in the Demon chat.
Oh, let's go. We love Remy Oddikins. Hero and Villain TV.
Another fixture.
Let's go. Look at us, bro. Look at us. We're just playing the hits right now, man. We're just playing the classics. I have Cup and Puka. Good stack.
I don't love stacking 2 receivers. Unless it's, you're handcuffing a receiver with, you're handcuffing Cup with Puka, but I'm not big on Puka. I haven't been big on Puka. I think you can get much more for him in trade value. You could have gotten more for him earlier. I mean, but yeah, I like Cup. Don't love Puka, especially with the quarterback situation.
Yeah, and it's important to note. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We don't know if Stafford probably isn't back. Is he on IR? Is he an IR candidate?
I think as a candidate, I don't know if they officially put him on IR, but I mean, bringing in a guy like Carson Wentz tells me that it might be.
And Wentz is going to start, right? Because they cut Rippon.
Yeah. Once I might not start this week, but
who's going to start?
Whoever they have. I mean, they just signed Wentz yesterday
over there, or what happened?
I mean, but you know what? When they brought Baker in, they started him right away. So,
And we saw Josh Dobbs. That's 2 game-winning, gritty performances from folk legends, Baker Mayfield and Josh Dobbs, who won a game on 5 days or less with a team. That's the stuff of legends.
Yeah.
I think we might have hit our ceiling with our chat, Demon. I don't see any new questions.
I don't see any new questions.
This has been an absolute. I know we almost timed it perfectly. You guys, we got a little quicker as the show went on. We like to drone and ramble at the beginning of the show, but once we realize that it's time to tighten it up, we go full rapid fire. So if anybody has any more questions, we still got a lot of you in the chat. The chat is active as hell. If anybody has any more questions, we are always down to take them right up until that hour. Armand Mosin in the chat. We absolutely love this guy. He says, awesome stream. We appreciate you, Armand.
Thank you so much.
You don't know what you mean to us. I'm not quite sure I know what this means. Steelers-Packers?
Steelers-Packers. Who's going to win that game? Saying. So
what do you think?
I think it's going to be the Steelers. I think it's going to be
Let's
the Steelers.
go.
I think it's a game where I think you can actually start both Jalen Warren and Najee Harris if you have them both, because you can run all over the Packers. So
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be one of those games where I think defense is gonna be king. The Steelers have championed the winning ugly theory.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tomlin, will he ever? There we go. We got to give our special shout out.
Is absolutely a fixture. I always call
our heel.
He wants recognition every single time he's here, so we're gonna give it to you, right?
Our very own heel. Takedo Luna, how many picks will Justin Herbert have versus the Lions? We'll make this the last question, Demon.
We will take however many picks Josh Allen has and multiply it by 0.
Yo, this guy, man, I swear to God, you guys, he's not that bad. Bills Mafia, don't leave the chat. He's a good guy. He just has a personal vendetta against the Bills. It's very normal.
This is the world champion of the Interdimensional Demon Federation.
Kermit Mahomes?
Kermit Mahomes is the world champion.
I love that.
He gets recognized every time he appears in the chat.
There's just so many of them, Demon. I'm so glad I get to meet these awesome characters, man. They're absolutely it's a wacky and zany bunch.
They are phenomenal. That's a new word. We're gonna say phenomenal.
Phenomenal? I don't know.
Phenomenal.
Hey, Demon, you got anything you want to say to the people, the Federation, the legit followers before we ride off into the sunset?
Nah, I love you guys.
I love you guys too. Yeah. Jade Dragon in the chat saying we're his favorite live YouTube podcast. That is the nicest thing you could possibly say. You don't. Mine too. Actually, look at us. So guys, let's have a good, clean match tonight. Let's go get a bunch of fantasy points. Start your Adam Thielens. Thank you for listening to the Legit Football Fantasy Q&A podcast. And we are out.